What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm JLAG and I'm here with
NBEA.
And we are here doing Riverdale's Chapter 17.
The town that dreaded sundown.
Mm-hmm.
They're dreading sundown.
Yeah.
They're dreading nightfall.
For a good reason.
Cute.
So right before we get into the episode.
Yeah, I feel like we need to shout out our Twitter fans and our Twitter peeps, because I feel like they've been supporting us for the last year or so that we've been doing this, especially the Riverdale podcast. So I just want to shout out to at Riverdale the CW and at Wayne AW, because I feel like they're always lurking and they're supporting us, and they're coming through, tweeting us and responding to our tweets. So thank you guys for always looking out. We hope you guys are enjoying and listening, and
I hope everybody else is listening and enjoying and subscribing to us. So we're gonna get through the episode, then we're gonna do our recap roundup, so stay tuned for that, and then we'll have an announcement at the end of the episode.
The announcements.
All right, let's get into it. Let's do this, girl.
Do it.
So it starts off, and it's Jughead, and he's talking about all these different serial killers in North American history, or American history.
I was like, HS.
I know, right? There's such a crossover right now. So he talks about the Zodiac Killer, which is also an AHS character, and all these different serial killers. And then he says his final one is, and now Riverdale has its own, the Black Hood.
Mm-hmm.
And he's getting books from the library, trying to figure out all these different stories about serial killers. And then in the meantime, Alice is lurking. She's been writing stories. She's trying to figure this out. And Jughead's kind of against her ish, because she's twisting the story to say that it's the Southside Serpents that, or
it's one of them,
or the South Side that's kind of creating this drama between the North and the South. Which he's not okay with, obviously, because he's repping them now.
He's one of them.
Then it cuts to our favorite place, the Lodge residence. Shout out to the
in the
lodges.
Morning too. I feel like the drama happens in the morning time when everyone's getting ready.
And everybody's freaking out over this video that Archie dropped last episode. and so Hermione comes through and she's like, you don't know what you're doing. Stop this ish with this man. You got to break up with him right now. She says, basta, mija. Basta. Which I think means stop in Spanish.
Stop this right now.
And obviously Veronica's like, no.
She's like, I can't
do it. And then I think that's kind of how she leaves the scene. And then Hiram.
But I love this. I love this part, because she's like, no, mom. She's like, daddy, tell mom that. No. He's like, no, she's right. She's the way he looked back at Hermione, I'm like, oh my God, he's so scared of her. He's terrified of her fucking wrath.
But is he? Because as soon as Veronica leaves, he's like,
I don't know. He's still looking really scared.
He's like, ha ha ha. So much chaos and confusion.
Yeah. Well, I think he just takes it and he's like, what can I do with this now?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Fake news. I'm going to
he's going to lurk in, steal more properties, whatever he's going to do. But he's doing his thing. And then it cuts to the Cooper residence. And on top of that, Alice is turned up about the fact that Polly dipped. For good reason. You mentioned it last episode.
Literally broke my heart. It did. Because I was like, you guys are trying to F with your mom, but all she wants to do is take care of you guys. She freaking loves you guys. And you left. You're pregnant. And you dipped.
Yeah. You thought it was okay.
What's wrong with you? Yeah. And she was so upset.
I felt so bad for her, because it's true. She represents every parent in the world, where she's like, every single time you leave the house, I freak out.
Yeah,
I worry when you don't answer the phone.
So
freaking parent life. It's so sad. And then you realize why Alice Cooper is so effing crazy. Yeah.
And they don't even let her do that.
They don't want her to be mommy, because then Betty's like, I am an independent woman. And so she just gets cheesed at Betty, and then she leaves and starts crying.
Leaves the table and cries. It's ugh.
Then it cuts to the Andrews residence, and
oh God, Archie, I can't.
Fred is freaking out, and he's like, yo, what is wrong with you? Did you think that was a good idea to basically send a death threat to the freaking murderer of this town? And he's like, take this video down. And Archie's like, I tried, but now it's viral.
I don't know how to do it, Dad.
He's like, viral. It's so viral right now. My shirtless friends and me are viral now. And so now they don't know what to do. He's kind of stuck in a situation. But at the same time, I don't think Archie gives a F at this point either. And then it cuts to Southside, and Jughead's with his friends, and his friends
Who's
are
his friends.
The
fake friends.
The Southside.
Yeah.
Hashtag new friends.
And no new friends.
No new friends. And they're turning up because they're watching Archie's video, and they're like, who's this guy?
Like,
who's this waste man? He thinks he's like this shit. Like,
North Sider.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, he's just a random guy. Like, and Tony's like, okay, that's your friend.
Yeah, Tony's totally booking the entire time,
yeah.
and Jughead's like, yeah, he's like low-key my childhood like lifelong
Yeah,
friend.
he's like my boy. Like,
but
what the hell?
he can't even say that at that point because he feels like intimidated. But they're like coming for him. They're like, who is this waste man?
Are you scared of them at this point? Like, are you scared of the one like tall guy?
I'm more annoyed, but it's mostly because I'm like siding with our Northsiders. Like, I love the Riverdale peeps. So
yeah,
these guys are just more like annoying. Like, get
They're,
out
like,
of
extra.
my face.
Yeah.
Stop being so extra. But I understand that that's like the strife between the two places.
Yeah,
like, I
like
get
even
it.
Tony was like pretty extra, but
No, she was extra this whole damn episode. I wasn't okay with her this episode at all. And then it cuts to Riverdale High, and Archie's video is like a remix.
I died. I was like, what are they doing? Like that, like
it was like
Kimmy Schmidt was like,
I will come and find you. Like, it was like all of his like words over
circle,
like
circle. I'm like, what is this? Like some next level remix?
And he's like walking down the hall like slow motion, like feeling badass. Everyone's like, ooh, look at that guy. Like, oh, he's the one in the video. Like, everyone's like feeling some type of way about it. And Veronica like turns up. She's like, the hell, man? She's like, we need to talk right now. Come into the chemistry class with me. So she goes so they go and talk, and then basically Archie's still feeling no ways. He's like, He's like,
just support me on this. Like, why can't you just support me? She's like, no, my parents are sketching out.
And then he's like, what? She's like, what compelled? Yeah, she's like, what compelled you to do this?
Yeah.
And then he's like, kind of your dad. Though. Like, your dad legit said. Me. She's like, you're telling me that my dad told you to go onto a video, like play a video with all your shirtless friends and like threaten the freaking Black Hood. And he's like, you didn't say that exactly, but he said, fight fire with fire, fight terror with terror. And so he's like, I ran with that shit. He's like, I took your dad's life advice and like I ran. And so it escalates even further. So he's like, sorry about it, Veronica, but I'm like, that's the situation. Yeah. And then it's like, Archie Andrews to the office, please. And he's talking to the principal, and the principal's like, yo, what's your effing problem? He's like reading the manuscript. Like, this kid did not obviously.
I will hunt you and I will find you.
Like, all these really dangerous things that he said. He's like, this is not a representative of our town or our high school. So he's like, you're off the football team right now. And he's like, actually, football is completely canceled. Everybody's done because until this
no more sports.
No more sports.
Nobody plays sports anymore
because you guys just want to beat each other up naked. No, they don't. And he's like, whatever. He's like, honestly, he doesn't like do this like badass attitude where he's like a freaking greaser or anything, but he does say like to the principal, like, listen, times are heavy, times are rough, I'ma do what I gotta do, and you just gotta stay on my way. So he doesn't care. He feels no way about it.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Because he turns Archie into like Wendy Williams. I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
That's exactly what it is. Hashtag Wendy Williams. And then it cuts to then it cuts to Betty and Kevin. And Kevin's like, you know what?
Oh, so Kevin's like good now all of a sudden.
Yeah. He's like,
Kevin, honestly, I'm gonna be real right now. He's my LVP like from time. He doesn't do anything, okay? He really doesn't. I'm sorry. Like, I wanna back this man up. I really like, do.
Sip on that tea. Yeah. That's
but
true.
He doesn't like, and then he lurked in. I'm like, oh, he's gonna be pissed at her from like last week. And he's like, we're all good now. I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
So in the montage, I forgot to mention.
No.
Like, no, I'm not okay with this. So in the montage, I forgot to mention this, but Betty, like, there's like a letter for her from like that was sent to the red and gold.
Yeah.
Blue and gold. I keep messing it up. And so she opens it and she's like frozen. So while Kevin comes in, she's like paralyzed. And he's like, you know what? Listen, I was talking to people, and you know, I'm off the site now. I'm not gonna be like thing. She's like she's going like off, silent, and she doesn't care anymore. She's like, that was last week's episode. Like, I don't care about that right now. Up to date. Then she's like, I got a letter from the Black Hood, and then he reads it, and it's basically him saying that he did it because of Betty. He's like, thank you so much for inspiring
her town hall
me
speech
during the Jubilee party or the ball. And
she's like, my speech?
He's like, your speech. And
he's like, it was pretty lit though.
You know, it's so funny because it's very, when he wrote that first letter and he said the things that he was saying, like, I'm getting rid of all the sinners, we're fake people. The first thing I did think about was what Betty said. So I should have mentioned that, because then I would have been like,
got it.
I got it. But yeah, he basically saying like he's doing this for her because he was inspired by like what she had said at that day. And then he gives her like a cipher, which is like a code,
like a puzzle,
to figure out like where he's going to be striking next. And
I was just like, we just did an escape room last week. I was like, oh, okay.
You're like,
that's hard. That
I'm gonna screenshot that and let's see if I can figure it out before the end of the episode.
Last week, me and JLAG, and we did solve it. So Betty, holla.
Yeah, holla at us. And but she's worried about giving the police the letter that says like, here's the reason why.
Yeah.
But she's like, but we need to solve this code. So how do I find a like strategic way to like get this code out so we can like figure it out quickly without
showing the other letter?
Exactly. So what does she do? Of course, she gives it to her mom. And she like has this like sob story. She's like, Mommy Cooper, I got this like thing and I don't even know what to do with it. I don't know what it means. And so she starts like turning up. So she's like, she gives it to the sheriff. She's the one who kind of like covers up for Betty. She's not like, Betty doesn't have to come forward to the sheriff and say like, well, where'd you get this letter from? Was there anything with it? You know, all those questions.
Because it makes sense, because the last time we heard from this, the killer gave that package to Alice.
Right.
So it kind of makes sense that like Alice would have the second package too, I guess.
Yeah. And even like Alice kind of makes that connection. She's like, the reason why she gave it to Betty was because like he's effing with me.
Yeah.
And she's scared of me. Like he's scared of me. So like,
I freaking love Alice.
Yeah,
she's so delusional.
So funny. And so like now they have to figure out the cipher, and then the sheriff, every single time the sheriff is like, here, let me take this to the office. She's like, sorry, I already published it.
Yeah.
She's like, it's already done. Sorry about it. And so that already happened.
She always cuts him off. She needs to be like the sheriff and the mayor.
Like
all at once.
Totally. Fully. I totally agree. And Archie. And so this is Archie and the rest of the football team, and they're like pissed. Reggie's like, yo, sign that paper. Oh, because like, I guess the principal said like, if you sign this paper of apology, we're like,
football's still in season.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's like, you're gonna make us suffer for this. He's like, you're the one that was thing. Like, everyone's gonna come for us now. And he's like, you guys were anonymous though. And then he's like, it was me. It was like my face. So he's like, no. But like, now everything's being affected. Like, football's canceled. Like, it's all your fault. So he's like, sign the damn paper. And then Archie's like, no, I'm not gonna sign the paper. Let's turn up and like, let's go to like the south side and like find this guy.
Pull him out of the shadows.
Yeah. And they're like, no,
Reggie's like,
we're out of this ish. Like, we're done with this like red circle BS. And what's his name, Doily?
Okay, yes, so Dilton is like everywhere all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I'm like, since when did the football guys become friends with Dilton?
Yeah, why is he lurking?
Why is he like lurking on like situation? Archie's shoulder?
I guess just because he like was the one holding the camera. I don't know.
Oh, true.
Or he gave him the gun.
True, yeah.
Whatever. He's like, wait.
But still, I was just like, but why are you in the locker room though?
So he's the only one that stays behind, and he's like, you did that video on purpose. Is your fight. That was you. Or you wanted this to happen. Yeah. You wanted it to be like this one-on-one situation. He's like, I know what you got. He's like talking about the gun, but like it sounded really gross and dirty.
You got that one thing that I wanted. She's like, what?
And then Archie's like, yeah.
True.
He's like, true.
I can do this on my own.
He's like, see you later. And then it cuts to Lodge residence, and Miha talks to Daddy.
Lodge.
And she's pissed.
She walks into that office.
She's not happy.
And Hiram was like, oh shit, I gotta pretend like I'm working. He's like, my papers, where my papers at? He was like scribbling. I'm like, you weren't working. Like,
you were just like twiddling your thumbs.
Nobody wants
to
work with
laughing.
you anymore because you went to jail. Like, calm down.
It's like, you're just scheming. You're just scheming all day long.
He was just like scribbling, like drawing images.
And so she's like, listen, what did you tell my boyfriend? Because he's like turned up and he said that you said some ish to him. And Daddy's like, nope, don't know what you're talking about.
Anything.
I have no idea. Do not recall. He's like playing completely like innocent, doesn't know what's going on. But she still bucks him. She's like, listen, I don't care what you have said to my man, but he took that ish and he ran with it. Yeah. And now he's like public enemy number one. And she was like, don't do that again. She doesn't really like resolve anything, I think, in that situation.
He was like, don't tell me what you're like, don't ask me whatever, like don't insinuate. She was like, I'm just asking you like what you said to him. That's all.
But it just goes to show that like how easy it is for both her parents to lie straight to her face, and like now she just has to kind of like sift through whatever is like, the truth and not. So after talking to her dad, she decides to like dip to Archie's
He's like,
place.
I gotta call the something trust. She's like, huh, trust. I'm like, ooh, she's like taking his word.
Like, word of the day, trust. Before it cuts to Veronica going to Archie's house, though, it cuts to Jughead with Tony.
Yeah.
And this is a situation, girl.
It's a situation now. It is. And we knew it was going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly. Like, Tony works fast.
Yeah, no time wasted. So Jughead's outside and he's trying to figure out, like, he's just reading books, I think.
He was like,
I think
when
he's
he
just
was
reading
talking
the
about the killers, and she was like, I love killers too.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like, chill.
I'm like, it's like we have that in common. Like, we love solving.
Oh my god, we're soulmates.
Mysteries.
We love serial killers.
Yeah, it was really, really stupid. And then she was like, she like drops down the like Southside paper, and she's like, I got this thing going. She's like, we got the cipher too.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Let's do it together.
So let's do this puzzle together. And he's like,
Jughead disappointed me. He was like,
first of all,
let's do it.
You get a call from your girl, and you're gonna flip the phone around, and then like continue to do a puzzle with this next girl. What's wrong with you?
Jughead,
that's like
what's
tight.
going into you? You're getting seduced by pink hair, really? That's some
Kylie Jenner. She brought her back.
Wow, that's rude.
But
that's
honestly,
so
though, yeah.
Anyway,
we'll talk about it later because
after.
there's like a bigger scene after that.
But like the thing that kind of I question at that point is like, how has he not talked to Betty at this point?
That's what I'm saying. Like all day you haven't been like
before it even got to the
Alice.
Southside paper.
Yeah.
How did you not like take a picture of the cipher, send it to your boyfriend, being like, yo, let's talk about this craziness that's happening right now? He didn't even talk to her about it. So that's kind of crazy. And then it cuts to Veronica going to Archie's place, and she like macks him. She's like meh. She's like, thank you so much. She's like, I want to stand by my man. She's like, you're right, my dad's cray. I want to fight with you. This is not just your fight, it's mine too. So she's like turning up
supporting
with him.
Yeah,
supporting. So I don't know if she did this, but he ended up finding
he kind of looked cheese for a second though when she like came in.
You know what it is? I feel like at this point in time,
and she was like, my daddy said this, so my daddy, and he was like, oh god, like
here it comes.
Is she doing this because like her dad said like not to do it, and she's doing the opposite thing? Like, what's going on?
Right. I think the one thing that I noticed with these scenes is, number one, Archie's completely disengaged.
Yeah.
Ever since this whole thing happened with like his dad, he doesn't really care about this relationship. He doesn't really care about Veronica. He obviously appreciates that she's around and supporting her, but he doesn't like romantically.
His focus is like so.
He's off.
So
it.
off.
He's off it. He's like a one track mind kind of guy. So he's not really feeling it. But he's like, cool, whatever. Thanks for supporting me, or whatever. And then she decides to like buy a gun with a fake ID. Like,
but I thought he already had a gun.
So I guess he wants like ammunition, or I don't know what he wants. But he's like Willie Wilkerson on this like
fake ID. Like, what are you doing with that fake ID?
Yeah.
Do you even go clubbing?
No, he just buys guns, I guess.
True.
And I thought it was really interesting because I think it was just like a shout out to how easy it is to pick up guns.
You know what? That's exactly what it was too. Yeah, it was like he's like a freaking high school student.
Yeah, and it's in the middle of the night. First of all, what gun shops are open at like 9 o'clock at night?
Of course they are.
Okay, whatever. So,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Gun shops would be open in the middle of the night.
It's true. Just in case you want to go hunting for that rabbit at like 11 o'clock at night. Okay. So then it cuts to,
and the guy was like, have fun hunting. He's like, true, I'm going hunting. I'm like, how are you hunting with a pistol?
Like, I am going hunting for a man. Not that kind of man. So then it cuts to the next morning, and Jughead is like just waking up, and Betty's like, yo, I just want to turn up with you because like you totally like ignored my calls. Like, where have you been this whole time? And
you know, when you get that text, like when he texted her the night before, and he was like, oh, it's late, like, can we just talk tomorrow? Oh, hell no. If you had the time to text me that, you could call me.
And see, look, you know what, with Betty, she's such a good girlfriend.
Yeah, she honestly, she like looked at it, she felt some way, but she was like, okay, whatever. Like,
she's like, I'm gonna go to sleep on this, and I'm gonna go check him out tomorrow
Yeah.
morning. So she does, and she's like, I actually wanted to know if you want
like boxers, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
fans.
Kind of like
everyone probably turned the F up.
Like screenshot.
Frame by frame.
So then she's like, I thought that we could do the cipher together. Yeah. There's this thing that we need to decode, and he's like, I am actually kind of already doing it.
Okay, if you haven't solved it by now, just lie and say you'll do it with her. Like, if you haven't solved it yet, just like, sit down and do it with her.
What compels you to continue this like storyline that like Tony is like your right hand girl,
and like
in
he
this
knows
situation.
when he's saying it, like it sounds bad. He's like Tony, like he doesn't want to say it either. It's like, you know that it's not gonna come out
the right
good.
thing to do, so like just say it, you know. And once again, Betty shows how like turned and like a good girlfriend she is. She's like, let's all do it together. Yeah. You, me, Tony, and Kevin.
Jughead's like, Kevin,
and she's like, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin.
Yeah, motherfucking Kevin. My gay best friend. And then it cuts to Veronica and Archie at school. And this is one of my favorite moments too. But she's like, don't worry, boy. I got you. Look at my shirt though. And it's like this red circle.
Like period stain on her shirt.
And he's like,
what?
He's like, you can't be wearing that around. He's like, what are you gonna do? You're like a target, literally. And
target.
And she's like, hold on 1 second. And then they walk down a hallway, and Cheryl at Cheryl Bombshell is handing out these shirts, and they look kind of cool.
Do you ever feel like I noticed this episode, because like there's moments where I'm like, I wish Cheryl was involved more in these storylines. Like Kevin seems to be now in it. Why isn't Cheryl in it? And like I just feel like it's very Cheryl to have a line when they see her in the hallway. Yeah. But because this episode really isn't about her, she doesn't have any lines. Yeah. You just see her from a distance throwing out like shirts.
She's like a supporter. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She's like down for like the fashion statement side of it. Yeah. For sure. But then the first thing I thought about was like hashtag Riverdale merch. Like, yeah. Totally. I was like, I'm on that shirt now. So it's kind of it's like so typical of Veronica to turn like something this like
and she even said it. She was like, I'm turning your like trashy like thing into like a sick like a fashion movement. Statement.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
And he's like, okay, cool.
And then it cuts to Jughead's house or Jughead's trailer, whatever you want to call it, and they're all trying to figure out this thing.
Oh, this was cringe worthy.
That's the only thing I can say right now.
Oh, Tony.
I was so cheesed. So Betty's like in it. She's like trying to figure it out. So she says it out loud. She's like, there's something in the top man. She's like, happening. She's like, there's something there. I'm trying to figure it out. I can't see like what's going on, but it's like in my head.
This is my best line of the episode.
And then Tony be like, she's like, maybe if you loosened your ponytail.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was like, what?
I was like,
and like everyone went silent. Like Jughead was even like, whoa.
I was like,
and Betty's like, And she's like, I'm just kidding.
She was like, that was a joke, guys. And then Kevin like turned up for her
that's
too.
Not a joke.
He was like, listen, bitch. He was like, her ponytail is iconic.
Yeah, he came through.
Not come for my best friend. So that was kind of cute, but at the same time, she was like, Tony's like,
but then she kept talking,
and then she kept coming through for her. She was like, you know what? I'm not feeling this type of way where you're thinking that like it's a Southside serpent. Yes. So why don't you just go outright and say that shit? It's a serpent. Because like I know that you're feeling that type of way, and Betty's coming through too, and she's like, listen, statistically, y'all are fucking drug addicts, y'all are fucking drug dealers. So like, don't be twisting up the facts.
And then Tony's like, yeah, but all the drug deals, like we sell drugs to you guys.
But like you're selling.
What are you guys talking about right now? Like, why are you guys fighting?
That's the fight, though. That's like the
like. Why do you want Jughead? Go get another man. Like, since when did you want Jughead? He just came to your school like last week.
It has to do 100% with Jughead, but and Jughead's just sitting there. He's not protecting anybody. Go date the other
man's. Like, go date that tall guy.
He's just chilling.
But yeah, he felt the awkwardness too.
Yeah, for sure. And at one point in time, I think Betty alludes to something that like she might know more of because of the fact that she got that letter. So then Kevin kind of like looks at her and he's like, oh, you gotta like keep it quiet or whatever. And she's like, I think this is what he wants us to check out, because he knows that like there's all these things, because she knows that he like the cipher is gonna say
the codes, right?
Where like the killing is gonna go, but that's not what it says on the paper, obviously, because she knows it from the letter. So she's like, I think this is what is going to happen when we read this letter. And Jughead's kind of
like I think the killer set up the code so that Betty would know how to solve it.
Right.
Because he's connecting it to her, but obviously she can't be like, he lurked on me.
Yeah. And so Tony's like, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm not down for this. And Kevin's like, me too. He's always so happy. Yeah. And then she was like,
I'll walk you home.
She's like,
and then he's like, oh, you walk me home.
And then they leave, and then Jughead and Betty just keep going at it. So I think what kind of breaks the conversation is Tony says like, why is your boyfriend lying to you, saying that he doesn't sit with the Southside Serpents when he actually does for lunch and stuff like that? So like, why don't you talk to your man? Like, there's obviously some like strife there. So she kind of low-key throws Jughead under the bus, so she
Betty
can like
has
make
some
a point.
Patience.
Legit for all of them right now, because even Jughead, I'd be like, I'm not even having you right now. You're like too much right now. And so then they leave, and then Jughead has to explain himself. He's like, listen, I'm doing it because I need to protect myself. There's like more than that reason. She's like,
cool,
but he's like, fine. Honestly, she's so effing patient. She's like, you know what, it's not a big deal, let's just figure out the cipher. Like, I'm so down for it. And then she like I guess they pass out, right? Like they fall asleep and they don't figure it out. And then it cuts to Archie, and he's like in the South Side. He's got a spray paint, and he's spraying circles everywhere.
Just go to sleep. Just go to sleep. Go into your bed. Go to sleep. Go hang out with your girlfriend. Like, what are you doing? You're so extra.
Just don't do anything. Archie
he's
just
spray painting circles like all around the South Side.
Yeah.
Trying to, I guess, like call out the killer. Yeah. Bring him out.
We're on your turf. Like, I'm here. No.
And then he kind of turns the corner.
Yeah.
And those serpent kids like see him.
Yeah.
Like Tony's like
Sweet
crew.
Corn or whatever.
Sweet Corn.
Sweet pea. And he's like,
God, I love that name.
He's like, what are you doing right now? Like,
why are you in our turf?
Yeah. I mean, he has full reason. Like, you're literally like vandalizing
you are.
ish. Like, it doesn't matter if, and then he sees it's a red circle. He's like, oh, you're the fucking guy.
Yeah.
You're the fucking loser. And then
Archie's like, yeah, so what?
And then he does. He's like, what now, bitch? He like pulls out a gun. He's like
the ghetto, and it was like on an angle too. Like, it was
an angle shot. And the guy's like, yo, and then he like dips. He like runs away
because he had a knife and Archie had a gun.
Yeah, and then Archie's like breathing heavily because he's like, I have so much power now. I don't know what to do with it.
What happens when the white man gets a gun? Archie will tell you.
So then it cuts to Archie at school the next day, and the principal's like coming for him again. Principal and the sheriff. They're like, we need to talk to you in the hallway. And they're like, we got a tip that somebody was in Southside with a gun, waving it around in front of a store.
So like somebody saw in the alleyway, like in the middle of the night, someone saw that.
Someone's store was still open at 11 o'clock at night, apparently. I don't know. Southside is already sketchy. Like, let me just say that right off the top. So then he's like, and on top of that, it was someone with red hair. And the only person in all of the town that's still alive other than like you is like you.
I want to talk about this real quick right here.
Because it ain't Jason, that's for sure.
Have you noticed that Archie's hair has been looking more ratchet lately?
What do you mean?
Okay, so I was watching like the first, second episodes again, whatever. And in some scenes, his hair looks really good. Like, it's like combed over. It's kind of like gelled. It kind of looks like, looks like real hair.
Yeah.
Since last week and this week, I've noticed that in some scenes his hair looks very much like a wig.
Oh,
like just like what's his face last season, Cheryl's dad.
Yeah,
it looks very like, you know how like a wig just looks. It's like very strawy and like it doesn't look like his real hair.
I mean, it's possible.
It's very possible, but I was like, it's throwing me off because I feel like they're mixing it. Like some scenes it's like his real hair, like some scenes like they add it to like. So that we don't notice it as much, maybe,
or maybe they do it like for the nighttime shots because like his real red hair doesn't like,
it doesn't like shine as much. Yeah, you're right. So I don't know, Twitter fans, like, have you guys noticed anything about his hair being weird? I definitely have noticed it. I've noticed it.
Is his hair a wig or not?
Especially since Blossom last season, where I was like, I didn't know he was wearing a wig. and then
it was a wig.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
So. It's like sidetrack.
Hair talk.
And then he's like, we need to get into your locker. We need to check if like you have a gun.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're not gonna find a gun in there. Go ahead. So then he like rummages through it, whatever. They don't find a gun, but they find an effing balaclava, like the
which
hood.
Doesn't make any sense because when Reggie came with that thing, he was at his house.
So like, what do you have?
Why would you bring that hood to school?
Because he's stupid. That's why he's effing Archie Andrews, and he doesn't understand like the like.
Also, his locker was so messy. It was giving me anxiety. Oh my god, I couldn't handle it.
He needs somebody to
his
clean that shit up.
His locker was so messy.
Veronica, come through.
Oh my god, no. I feel like she's already controlling him in like so many ways.
That's very true. And so then it cuts to, so I think he gets like sent home, and then it cuts to Fred.
Yeah, they call like Fred.
And Fred's like,
your son is
Fred's
bad.
like, your son is evil. And he's like, listen, I do not know who you are anymore. He's like, I'm scared of this murderer, but I'm even more scared of you because like you're so unpredictable. He's like, I don't know what crazy shit you're gonna do next. So like, I'm really, really nervous for you right now.
Yeah.
And so Archie's like, shrugged it. She keeps shrugging everything. He's like, whatever. He's like, me not care. And then it cuts to our girls, Miha and Mia, plus Hermione and Veronica, and she has a conversation. Veronica's like in her room just chilling, and
with her glasses on. When she has her glasses on, she's doing work.
Means business, yeah. And so they're just talking or whatever, and Hermione's like, so you guys didn't break up yet? I see that you got that shirt on or whatever. And she says something really cool about loyalty. She's like, loyalty is like such a powerful thing. Like being loyal to your man is like amazing, and it can like create such a great bond. But blind loyalty is like ridiculous because then you're just like following nobody. So in a way, it kind of got Veronica thinking a little bit about it, because she's like, am I doing this just because I blindly love him, or do I believe in his cause? Yeah. So Hermione's like dropping truth bombs, and then she like disappeared into the wilderness.
The shadows.
Again.
Yeah. The wilderness. That is their condo.
So then it cuts to the Cooper residence, and Betty's at home, and I guess like Jughead like gets there at the same time, and he's like, so you left your notebook at my place, and he's like pissed, and she's like, what did I leave there? And then she's like flipping through all the pages, and he's like, this fell out.
He was like holding it,
and it's like the full letter, and he's like, why didn't you tell me? And she's like, you know why I didn't tell you? And he's like, it's not about that. What is the real reason why? And she's like, I didn't want anybody to find out that the reason why this person's out there is because of me. And he's like, you're not afraid of just like everybody. You're afraid of one person specifically. Mm-hmm. You're worried that Archie will find this and like feel bad. Because I mean, I guess like if you really make the linkages,
I don't get it.
Like if this guy is going after people because of Betty, the first person that he shot was Fred.
True.
So like he'll get pissed, and she's like worried about that shit. So he's like Archie would never look at you that way. That's like a reach.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you're not doing this. You have to we need to tell people like what's going on. But first she's like, I don't know what like triggers it, but she was like, this was sent to you, and she was like, to me, and then she was like, I need to like find this like next book, or she's like, if it's for me, I need to figure out like what it's like, where the connection is. Then it cuts to Veronica, and she's at home just chilling. She's just like, mossing, and she gets a phone call from Archie. And this is the part that like kind of got me angry, because she was like, he's like, could you do something? I need you to do something.
Because he can't. So he got actually like banned from going to school, I think.
Oh,
he wasn't allowed on like school property.
Got it.
So he was like, can you go do this for me?
But it's in the middle of the night.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like everyone just go to sleep. Like why just do it in the morning? Why?
So he's like,
why though?
He's like, I need you to grab something. She goes into like the men's washroom, like toilet.
She goes to school in pitch black.
Yeah.
With her flashlight and her cape.
By herself.
The cape was like a big thing on Twitter.
Yeah.
She goes into the bathroom and pulls out this gun in a Ziploc bag. So like someone was smart enough to like put it into a plastic bag. And then she's like, "Ooh, gun."
Yeah, I mean he did it, right?
Yeah, he did it.
And then she like goes to his place, and she's like, are you insane?
Like, are you dumb though? Are you dumb?
She's like, all this time I've been protected you, and you have an effing gun. Like, are you crazy?
Yeah. He's like, I needed it to protect myself.
I'm coming after the Black Hood. I'm gonna save the world. It's crazy. Yeah. Like when she's legitimizing it, she's like, now I'm not for you.
Like now you're crazy.
It's like now you're too much. And she's like, she's trying to like get him to understand the repercussions. He's like, I don't really care if I die. She's like, but what about everybody else that's left behind? You fucking,
he was
like,
such an
selfish bitch.
idiot in this moment. Like I was like, you actually don't, you're such a kid, like you have no idea what the F you're doing. He's like, I don't care if I die. And she's like, okay, well I care if you die. And Jughead and Betty and your dad, like, are you dumb?
Like, what's wrong with you? And
he's like, yeah, I guess.
He's like, true. And then she was like, she's like, if you care about where that gun went, I tossed that shit. It's gone now. And he's like, okay. And then at that moment, like there's a doorbell, there's a ring on, like ring.
There's a ring.
And
ring-a-ding.
Reggie and like the rest of the football team come over with like their pizza.
With some pizza.
They're like, hey. And they basically he basically like thanks Archie for not ratting Reggie out
for the hood,
which is like the weirdest connection ever. I was like, what would it have mattered if he was like, oh yeah, but that's Reggie's, it's not a big deal. Yeah. Like what, Reggie's gonna get suspended because he had a hood at school? It was
already his hood.
It's not a big deal. Like I don't understand. Anyway, so that's happening, and then all the while, because this is all still like nighttime, guys. It's like darkness. And the mayor is holding a team meeting.
Town hall. In the team meeting.
A town hall at the school. So like everybody's kind of there too. So it cuts between those two scenes basically for for a bit of the episode. So in the meeting, essentially like the mayor is like, listen, we need to tone down. We need to like calm ourselves out. And of course Alice is like
the friggin' hero right now.
She like comes through, she
just stands up,
and then she's like, why aren't you coming for the serpents? Like the serpents are this is what's happening. And the mayor can't really say anything. She's basically
saying like, no, we don't have to be calm and quiet. Like the next thing we have to do is freaking stand up, protect ourselves, and like find out who the F this killer is.
Exactly.
Like, we're not gonna just cower and like hide in our homes. Like that's bullshit.
And then Fred turns up and he was like, you're the first person to like create like a ruckus and create like crazy things. Like you need to calm down too.
Fred needs to sit the F down, okay?
So I was gonna ask you, what was your whole take on this situation? Do you agree with Fred? Or
I 100% agree with Alice. I'm telling you, she's my hero. She needs to be the mayor and the sheriff at the same time. It's time where you guys actually like do something now. Okay, your sheriff is standing up on that stage, useless AF. Useless AF. Totally. Like how many kids have died on his watch? You know, like teachers have died. Like he's so useless.
Yeah.
And Alice is right, and also Fred is useless too. Like Fred is useless.
Okay,
like,
fair enough. Like,
go back to work. Go to your construction job. Like you're not doing anything.
So you're healed up now. Go.
And she even makes fun of him too. She's like, "Oh, of course, Fred turns the other cheek. Like, he's gonna get beat up again. Like, so annoying."
And then there's like a really quick shot of Hermione and
and they're just like
Hiram
whispering.
And he's like, I think Hermione even says, she's like, I told you that Fred was gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that she mentions that, because I wanted to be like, so did she really come for Fred or not? Like, was there a hit on him or not?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure this out. So anyway, so that's what's happening on that side. And then there's just this debate going on at the school. And then Betty in the meantime, Jughead and Betty go to the school and they find this Nancy Drew book. And then she figures out the cipher. Yeah. And the cipher basically says, I'm going to hit where like this all began.
Started,
all started at the town hall, or like in that area, the gymnasium or whatever. And so she's like, we gotta go. And so she like dips, and Archie gets another doorbell ring.
They're like eating pizza. Reggie looks like really good.
Yeah. You're so down for Reggie.
And then the door knocks again.
Yeah.
And then this time, I think Veronica goes
and
to look
like,
to see who it is.
She's like, I'm so glad you guys are making up, because we got trouble coming through at 1 o'clock.
Like, hops over and he's like, oh no.
Yeah. And then he was like, you come to my territory. So it's Sweet Pea.
Yeah.
And
he's like, you came to my hood with a gun in my face. He's like, now I have backup. Yeah. And this is going to go down. And I'm like, but what's going to go down? Like, what are they talking about? And Archie's like, yes, it's going to happen. Okay. And Veronica's like, guys, what are you doing though? Yeah. Like, what's going on? He goes, stay here. He's like, you stay home and protect my house.
You stay home.
He's like, we're gonna go. I'm like, where are you going? What's happening?
We're just gonna go on the sidewalk outside.
It's like this silent like agreement that they're gonna have this random ass fight in the rain. Like, what? Guys are so stupid. Like, what are you doing?
And even Veronica said she's like, if you guys want to really do this, and I'm gonna be like the person that's gonna like manage it, I'm gonna manage the situation, or do you want me to call like the sheriff right now?
Yeah.
So she's kind of gonna be like the judge, the winner, and whatever. I don't know.
Wait, was she supposed to be there, or was she supposed to be at the house?
I think he said like stay here, but then she was like, no, I'll keep
control. Oh my god,
I don't know.
So dumb.
I don't know how she would do that, but anyway, so there's this epic ass fight scene in the rain.
Yeah.
It's kind of
it was very cheesy, but the way it was shot was really cool.
Really,
it was
really
like
cool. Slow motion,
like rains dropping,
punching, and all this other stuff. So it's basically the South Side versus the football team.
North Side, yeah.
And they're all fighting, whatever. And it's like chaotic. At one point, I think Dilton gets stabbed. And then like Archie's like, Dilton!
He's like, my boy
gave me the gun. And so like they're fighting, they're about to like come through, or no, they're all like losing. They're losing.
Like Archie was getting pummeled on the floor.
Yeah,
like
beat the F down, and then gunshot goes off.
Yeah,
and then it's our girl, holla girl,
hey, with
Veronica
the gun and a cape.
Yeah, with her cape, and she was like, dunch. And everybody's like, run! Someone's got a gun.
Shots fired.
Shots literally fired. Well, this is the thing that kind of like confused me, because the South Side always has like a reputation for being like sketchy.
Yeah, but they get scared at gunshots.
And none of them themselves brought a gun. Yeah. Like it could have gone a lot worse.
Yeah.
Like Veronica could have been like, pop. And then like
they
someone could have been like,
pop, pop, pop. Exactly. It would have been like a song.
Yeah. Would have been like a reggae song. And then it cuts to, so then that ends. Everybody like dips.
They go home now.
And then Betty has to like basically and in the meantime, all this fighting that's happened, she runs to the school with Jughead, and she was like, everybody
guys, the killer's coming, like we know he's gonna be at the town hall, like this is the event, like he's gonna be here. And then the lights go out.
Yeah,
but like nobody listened to Betty. Everyone's like, who's this bitch like right now?
So like we don't remember you from the
they're
speech
just like
Jubilee.
sitting. Yeah, then the lights go out. Yeah. And then the mayor's like, okay guys, everyone like stay chill, like calm down, like don't worry, like we're figuring it out.
Yeah,
still like nobody's moving. Betty's like, guys, he's coming, like we need to go. They're like, no, like everyone's like still sitting.
Yeah,
she goes to the fire thing, like the alarm.
Yeah,
she sets off the alarm. Everyone's like, true, let's dip. Like, did no one see her pull the fire alarm? Like there's no fire, guys. Getting these
people to move, like
there's
it was
no fire.
A challenge.
It was Betty. Like, do you see her?
They're like,
true, there's a fire.
Yeah, they're such sheep, man. So then they dip, whatever, and then now Betty has to explain.
So wait,
herself.
was the killer there?
I mean, he didn't kill anybody.
Yeah.
Or that we know of. So I guess he never did it, or she stopped it in time, or whatever. And then it cuts to Betty talking to her parents, being like, yeah, I guess I got the letter. Like, didn't want to tell you guys about
the letter.
She didn't want to give it to like them for whatever reason. And so like now everybody kind of knows, and like Alice is like even more concerned.
Yeah.
And she's like more worried about things.
For sure.
What did you think of that whole situation, like with like Betty finally telling her parents?
I mean, like, she should have for sure. I think she thought it, like, just like show everything to your parents. Like, your parents need to know, man.
But I mean, I definitely see her perspective. Like, I feel bad. I would feel bad if someone like wrote me a murderer wrote me a letter.
Just because you hide that one letter, who knows that like next week he's not gonna like come out and say it in another way.
Fair
like
point.
It's gonna come out obviously at some point. He's a murderer.
Yeah, that's true. And then we get a really quick shot of Veronica and Archie, and they have a really cute scene where she's like taking care of him. Yeah. She's like healing him up and like covering his wounds and stuff. And he basically says like, thank you.
Yeah, he's like, if I had that gun, it would have been like pop, 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 pop.
I would have made a song. And she's like, you know what? I came through for you because I care about you, and like this is some crazy times right now. And then Fred like kind of looks
what was up with that Fred scene?
He's like, I'm about to yell. Oh no, I'm not gonna yell.
He like sees them like touching each other, and he's like, oh wait, no, I'll go back downstairs.
Yeah, he goes back downstairs. Yeah, it was kind of weird.
But it almost like he looked worried, like he was like,
concerned.
I think he's sketching out because Archie's getting too close to her.
Oh,
yeah,
because I feel like the lodge history.
Yeah, I feel like the lodge history, and I just feel like maybe Fred thinks that she's gonna like control him in a way. And he's scared for that. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah. I feel like that.
Interesting. I feel like that's at least of the concerns. His son is like out of control right now. Like he needs control in his life. If anything,
I guess, but not from her. You know, like it should
enough.
be from like his own like thing.
And then it cuts to like Jughead's like kind of like final goodbye like conversation, and then it shows Veronica and Archie like throwing.
Yeah, like they were about to get it in, Veronica and Archie.
Oh yeah, true.
I'm like, okay, amazing. Like life is going back to normal. Like cool.
And even Archie's
get it
like,
in.
Let's do this.
And then she's like, oh wait. And he's like, what? Like it wasn't even him that said it. It was her. She's like, the gun.
She's like, we gotta do something first. And then they toss it, and then he's like, now can we have sex? And so that happens, and then we get the line that like is the name of the episode. It's like the town that dreaded Sundown from Jughead. And then at the very, very end, we get Betty coming through with a phone call.
Unknown number. Pick that phone up, and it's the Black Hood. Who's calling me from the unknown number?
And it's
Black Hood.
It's the Black Hood, and he's like,
"Hello, Betty.
It's the Black Hood. I love you."
Is that what he said?
I think he says it's the Black Hood.
It would have been awesome if like his caller ID was like the Black Hood.
Where it's like, "Hi, it's Barb." Like, I don't know, somebody else. And then the episode's over.
Yeah.
All right. Amazing.
I mean, like at this point, I feel like they haven't had a bad episode. To be honest, like I feel like every episode is amazing.
Fun to watch. Let's get into our favorite section.
Recap roundups. Best moment. My best moment was Alice in the town hall because I felt like she killed it. She slayed everyone else in that damn like meeting.
True story.
And I feel like she needs to be the mayor and the sheriff. Really, I feel like she needs to be in control of like everything.
That's true. My best moment was that whole trailer park scene with Jughead,
like inside,
Jughead, Tony, and Betty. That kind of like
scene.
riff off.
Very dramatic. Tensions
were high. Ponytails were undone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So shit's going down, and it makes me worry about like what's gonna happen in the future of Jughead and Betty. Like Bughead fans, watch out.
Don't get scared.
I'm scared though. What do you think is gonna happen with that now?
They're gonna break up, obviously. Don't even start with me. They will break up. I'm sure Veronica and Archie will break up too. Like there has to be a cycle. Like it's gonna be a change. You know what I mean? Yeah, switch up. WTF moment. My WTF was the fight because I was just like literally like staring at my phone. I'm like, what the F are they fighting about? What's going on? Like, is this what boys do? Like, do you want to fight?
Literally murderer like, running around. Like, you guys want to fight in the middle of the street.
In the middle of the street when it's pouring rain. Like, what are you guys doing?
It was beautifully shot. I will give it that.
It was.
But yeah, it was definitely like a WTF.
I was just like, what? For sure. Like, this is so dumb though. Like,
so extra. My WTF moment is Avi, that phone call.
Yes, the phone call at the end.
Hey. So what do you think is going to be the situation? What
do you think he's telling her on the phone?
He's directly contacting her now. I don't know. I have no idea what his motive is now.
Okay, do we have an idea of who we think this killer is?
I think there's been some Twitter rumblings of like who it could be. So
I read somewhere yesterday that apparently in the comics, the Black Hood was a cop. Yeah. And I almost feel like the show wants us to think that it might be Sheriff Keller.
Okay.
But I don't think it is.
Because he's useless.
He's useless.
And why would he be doing this?
He's totally useless.
Why would he be doing this?
I don't know.
To show that he's really bad at his job?
I don't know.
Because he sucks at it.
I don't know. But that's like, who do you think it is?
I feel like it might be someone that we might know that's like a secondary or tertiary character, like a grown man. Yeah. There was a rumor going around that it was a Southside Serpent.
Yeah.
I feel like at this point in time, if it is a Southside Serpent, I would love to see that stuff.
It might be the guy that Jughead went to ask like for favors.
The guy with the long hair.
Like, and he's like really tall.
Yeah.
Somebody.
And he has green eyes.
Yeah, he has really, really green eyes. So I feel like I feel like it's pretty solid of a guess.
The other side of it is, and I think this is like a reach, but I wanted to put it out there anyway, is maybe the killer is somebody, but it's being possessed by witchcraft, aka like hashtag
It could be also Betty's brother that I've been seeing a lot of pictures of, so I don't know how they're gonna loop
dismiss
him
that
in.
so quick. You're
no.
Like, no.
Right,
no.
Sorry about it. No. I don't think it's Betty's brother because the guy was like old, so like I don't think it's him, but we'll see.
Who knows? We'll see.
Anyways, but yeah, the phone call. I don't know what he's even telling her.
Yeah, we'll find out next episode.
LVP.
My LVP was Hiram Lodge because of the way Hermione put him down so fast in that beginning scene. I was like, ooh. I was like, Hiram, you're getting whipped.
You're getting whipped up. My LVP of the episode was Juggy. I feel like
I don't know. I don't know why you put Juggy in there. I felt like he came through.
How? Where?
Yes,
when?
Yes, he let her down for like half of it, but then after like he helped solve like the thing.
He didn't really. He just followed her to the library. Like he didn't do anything for her. He's lying to his girlfriend. He's feeling some type of way about Tony. Like I'm not okay with the way Jughead is like. Yeah, he's being totally shady. I'm not okay with it.
MVP. My MVP was Alice Cooper.
Hell yes.
Hell yeah, mommy.
Hell yes, mommy. Yeah, she turned up this episode. She definitely like really pulled through. She was the one that was kind of challenging everybody and being like, no, we gotta turn up.
And like in all her scenes, she was just like on point.
Do you feel like she's a little bit too aggressive against the Southside Serpents? Like she has like a vendetta against them.
I feel like she is. But maybe for good reason.
I mean,
and I also feel like when FP gets out of jail, he's gonna FP Alice, and that's gonna be like the best scene ever. So I feel like once FP comes out, like she'll like see like the serpents in a different way. Maybe you know? We'll see.
But like right now, she's pissed. She's on fire. My MVP was Veronica because I feel like
Veronica came through.
She's Archie like 5,000 times. Yeah. Once again, she like took the gun. She was very strategic about it. And she was killing that cape. So obviously
rocking the cape. The best line.
What was your best line of the episode?
The best line for me was when Tony was like, "Oh, maybe you should like let down your hair, Betty." I was like, wow.
Rude.
She's like, maybe it's too tight. Because Betty was like, I can't really figure out like what's going on. Like my head's not working.
Of all the things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like of all the things, like that's not a joke, girl.
Yeah. Now I'm seeing what she's saying.
She has no girlfriends, Tony. And this is the problem. When you see a girl with no girlfriends, that's an issue. And when you look at Tony and she's with all those guys all the time, this is why, because she can't have girlfriends.
Right.
Because you get like jealous or whatever it is, you know?
Damn, you're coming for her right hard.
I mean, she came for Betty right hard too. Don't mess with Betty in a blonde bun, okay?
Blonde bun. Get a ponytail.
But yeah, I feel like that was very, very tight of her to say.
Yeah. My favorite line was Hermione coming through with her loyalty.
It was a good
where she talks about blind loyalty and the fact that like when you follow somebody blindly. But it's interesting because when she's saying it, I'm like, are you looking in the mirror though? Like,
well, that's the thing. Like, I think that was the whole irony of that entire situation. It was like, just be careful with who you were following. And I think the way Veronica was even looking at her mom was like, bitch, like you're like this is my dad right now. Like who are you?
Yeah, you're a waste too.
But I think it's important to know that like Veronica obviously still listens to her mom. Like she still takes her advice, you know?
It's true. So it's true. It was a really interesting dichotomy between the two of them. Love the Lodge family. XOXO. That's the end of the episode, guys.
It was really good though.
Yeah, so good.
Like predictions, I don't know. Like overall predictions, what do you think? I
mean, I think we all named it off. We're not really sure what's gonna happen with like the Black Hood, who the Black Hood is, what this phone call might be. We'll see what happens in the next episode.
They just make it so much fun to watch the show.
Yeah,
like whether or not you want to even find out who the killer is or not. Even with Jason's last year, like we didn't really care. Like they just make it fun.
It's the drama, it's an entertainment aspect of it. Exactly. It's a lot of fun to watch for sure. I hope you guys liked the podcast and enjoyed it. Keep listening. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Twitter at recap_rewind. We're also on Instagram, on Facebook. It's amazing. And don't forget, guys, by the end of this season, we are giving away a pop socket. MB, can you tell us what a pop socket is?
A pop socket, just first of all, Google it because they're amazing. But also pop sockets, I have them on my phone right now and I can hold my phone between my two fingers and keep it up as a stand.
It's crazy.
When I'm like watching something.
I'm telling you guys, it's so life-changing.
And also they're customized, guys. They're custom Riverdale themed pop sockets that we're giving away for free.
Designed by yours truly.
Hello.
MB came through with some amazing designs.
Who wouldn't want it?
Yeah.
So all you have to do to join our contest is follow us on Twitter, follow us on YouTube, like this video or any previous episode.
Yep.
And just comment in the comments and write what you think you would name Jughead's motorcycle. And the best answer wins.
And that's it, guys.
See you next week.
Bye.